First rule about the Electro and Bono movie Power Hour is you do not talk about the Electro and Bono movie Power Hour.
The Electro and Bono movie Power Hour. You know what? Where's Hawk at? Listener discretion advised. Pansy.
And apparently you got to say it twice because that just makes it's reverse psychology to make people actually do it. So I'm going to say it one more time. The second rule of the Electro and Bono movie Power Hour is you do not talk about the Electro and movie Power Hour. But either way, welcome to the show. I am Electro.
You got it?
Yeah, you stumbled, but you're good, man.
We got Bono here. I stumbled through life, man. That's my journey.
And that's the point.
Yep.
That's the point.
That's the point of Fight Club, isn't it, guys?
Yes, it is.
And we got Ozzy over there talking shit on the keys every day.
Moving stuff.
We continue with our Fincher Nolan series, and we are talking about one of my favorite movies of all fucking time, Fight Club. I must have watched this movie as from like late teens, early 20s, no less than 40 times probably, I would say.
Okay.
40 to 50.
I think that's a little conservative, but you know.
I might have watched it more, but there's no way to tell, but I want to give it a good number.
At least you have, for sure.
Yes.
I would say maybe like 10 times for me.
Yeah. So we first watched this in probably the year, it came out in 1999, so we probably watched it like in 2000, maybe late 2000 when it was doing its cable run and it was like on HBO. Usually it's like a year later.
Right.
That's when we first watched it, and we watched it a lot back then. So actually, if you count those, I wasn't counting those in my I watched it
like
50 times.
Complete watching
Yeah.
until you owned it.
Yeah, till I bought it when I was like in my teens, late teens. That's where I count the 40, 50. Before that, we watched it as kids probably
Twice.
a lot.
Like 3 times.
Several times. It was on HBO.
As many times as possible.
Yeah. If it was on, you're going to throw it on. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yes. So this is David. Which one is this? David Fincher's fifth movie?
I'm not sure.
What are we at on?
I had never seen it. I had 20 years. Over 20 years.
I want to say it's his fourth movie. Is it number 4?
Let me see.
It's number 1 in my book.
Boom. It's not. Maybe. Fuck.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. It's
number 4. Perfect.
Yep.
Give us the stats, Bono. What do we got here on Fight Club?
All right, man. Well, written by Jim Uhls. UHLS. Stupid last name. Anyways, this fucking guy, he also wrote Jumper.
That's the only thing of significance that he wrote other than Fight Club.
Yeah, that
amazing.
That hooked him up. Another writer, obviously the book writer, Chuck Palahniuk.
One of my personal favorites.
Who's also written other books like Choke, Haunted, Lullaby, Survivor. And he wrote this one. And it's fucking great.
I have to say that he is my favorite author. Continue.
Also, I need to fucking watch this movie with his commentary because it has a special feature. For
with him and the screenplay writer. So they're both writers and they're both talking about how
2 hours of him going, nope, wrong. That's not how I wrote it.
I mean, that might not be a bad thing either. I'm down to listen to that.
No, it's a great commentary actually, and he actually praises the movie a lot. It's very good.
It's good, yeah. It's praisable.
Yeah. So, studio obviously 20th Century Fox. The runtime of this movie is what kind of surprises me a little bit because it doesn't seem that long, and it's not super long, but it's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's pretty long.
Yeah, but it's that enjoyable, right? Just go.
Yeah, it doesn't
I love
seem like it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love it.
It's not like Uncut Gems.
Right. That's what we gotta. That's what we're gonna say. When it's long, when movies are long,
Too long.
Of course, the cast, we have Edward Norton as the narrator, or Jack, or Cornelius, or whoever the fuck he plays. We have Brad Pitt as Tyler Durden. We got Helena Bonham Carter as Marla. Jared Leto's in this fucking film as Angel Face.
One of the movie's flaws. No, because you get to see him get his ass kicked.
whooped.
He's not bad.
Spoiler.
In it. He gets his ass kicked. He's great in it.
Spoilers for Fight Club.
Yeah. Meatloaf, Robert Bob Paulson. His name was Robert
Name was
Paulson.
Robert Paulson.
His
Bob
name
had
was
bitch
Robert
tits. Okay.
They were saggy.
The budget on this film was $63 million.
Very-
And the box office was a little shaky. It got $37 million domestic, worldwide at 101 after a couple years of runtime, I'm assuming.
Probably not a couple years, but yeah. And it's theatrical run.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We got the stats there on Fight Club. And yeah, like I said, this was a movie that I kind of worshipped as a fucking teenager, early 20-year-old. In high school, it was like I would be fucking writing down some of the quotes in like my binder or on my backpack or something bullshit like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the better Tyler quotes, I would write them down and stuff. It was I was fucking obsessed with this movie. How much do you? So we got the budget, right? 63 mil.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think Brad Pitt got paid for this movie?
50.
50.
No, it's 99, so maybe like 20. I would say maybe like 20.
He got paid 17.5 mil.
Okay, yeah.
How much do you think Edward Norton got paid?
At least 20.
What?
Yeah.
Million?
He's the lead. No?
He is, but he's not Brad Pitt.
Well,
What had they done right before that?
Brad Pitt had just done.
He was already Brad Pitt.
what, 7?
Yeah.
He was already in 7, right?
7 was like 95 though, maybe.
Edward
Well, he
Norton-
had just done
Was
he
Norton-
had just done Meet Joe Black, which was a flop, shitty movie.
crap. Take away $2 million.
And Edward Norton had just done American History X
That's why you get it paid. You know what I'm saying?
Up, yeah, he's going up.
and Primal Fear, which he was nominated for an Oscar for.
Oh,
It's a
come on.
great movie.
Okay, you're adding more to it. You're not.
Yeah, but so you're guessing 20 million
For sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Pitt was fucking Jennifer Aniston at that time too.
Brad Pitt was one of the biggest stars.
He
in
just
the
had a
world.
bod. He looked good.
That he was.
But Edward Norton looked, I want to say maybe better in American History.
I don't know, man. Fucking Brad Pitt is so cut in this movie. He's not as thick as Norton was in American History X.
Right.
But Brad Pitt has a fucking bod in this movie, dude. It is perfection.
It's a fashion statement in this
It is
film.
perfect. Dude, I've never seen such a perfect six-pack, dude. That shit was beautiful.
You missed his uncredited thing actually right before Fight Club. He did being John Malkovich.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Apparently he's uncredited. It was probably
That
just
makes
a quick
sense.
cameo.
It makes sense because John Malkovich is in it, so he was probably playing himself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Edward Norton got paid $2.5 million for making this movie.
Generous, man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was his biggest nut to that date. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I mean, American History X. I'm assuming we did not have a giant budget and wasn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that didn't seem like a
successful.
big
I mean,
budget.
we'll look into that
We gotta
another
do one
day.
on that.
Oh, we will. We will.
Yeah.
American History X will have its day
Yes,
in
it will.
court
Yes,
at
it
the Electro and Bono Movie Power Hour,
Oh, yeah.
where we will judge it accordingly. We will pound the gavel.
Pounding.
God damn it. All right, so let's get right into the heart of this thing. This thing starts off with the opening title sequence, and you're going through like the nervous system of the brain. It has like that weird music. I don't even know what to describe.
It's that
music.
90s style Matrix-y fucking, EDM drum and bass type.
Yeah,
music.
hell yeah.
Yeah. And you're going through the nervous, really cool title scene. It reminds me of the title scene to fucking X-Men. Okay. I think it's kind of similar. It goes through like a cell or something.
Oh,
It goes through
shit.
genes and shit.
Okay, you're right.
And it's just a really sick shot. You go through the nervous system, through the skull, through it, and then you end up coming out through a clogged pore, and you go down with a sweat drop that goes onto the gun, and like goes out through the gun, and it looks really fucking good for 1999.
Again, yeah, it's 21 years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Looks better than a lot of 21-year-olds I know.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know any 21-year-olds, but that's still a good joke.
But yeah, you got.
I wish I did. If you're 21, hit me up.
Wait.
Ozzy, what's your email? Throw it out there.
What's your
man.
AOL, please? ASL, sir.
Let's chat.
Yeah,
Aim me, bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were.
Virus free.
That's what we were doing in 1999. I'll tell you that.
Let's keep it true. Let's keep it true.
ASL send nudes.
Send nudes. A little aggressive, but all right.
Not immediately. You work up
Okay,
to
okay,
it.
okay.
But anyway.
So he says something in the beginning of the movie too, right? He says that when you have a gun in your mouth, you only speak in vowels.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, the first thing he says is, people are out always asking me if I know Tyler Durden or something like that. And what is fucking he asks him something, right? And he's like, what? And he like because he has the gun in his mouth, and he takes out the gun and he's just like, what was that? And then yeah,
You know what? Fuck. I tried to pay attention when we watched it here the other day. I had watched it like maybe 2 nights before, and in that opening sequence, he says something about thinking about where the gun has been.
all right.
And then at the end he resolves that, and he answers that question. I think he says like 21 or something, and then he makes like the face like as if he knows where that gun has been. He's just like, ugh, like that was in my mouth.
Right.
So it's like he's answering at the very end the beginning of the movie's questions. It's pretty good, but I need to
Very
rewatch
nice.
it just to close that off.
This is a movie that gets better with many rewatches because there's a bunch of little things that kind of hint to what's going to happen. Obviously, Ozzy, you hadn't seen this movie, but you knew the twist, right?
No, I didn't.
No?
No, I knew that there was a twist with Tyler's character. I didn't know what it was. I purposely didn't go out and search for it. I was, but no, I knew there was a twist, but I didn't know what it was.
Interesting. I feel like everybody knows, even if they haven't seen this movie, everybody kind of knows what the twist is or something. No,
I kind of had a feeling again that Tyler wasn't real.
you got that feeling.
Yeah, but how or what he actually was, I had no clue.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of hints to it, but yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. After you watch it,
First thing is people are always asking me about Tyler Durden. And then it starts off where he explains that he's in this building and that the surrounding buildings are like rigged and ready to blow. And it does like a similar tactic as the sweat going through like the gun, that movement that happens maybe like 5 or 6 times in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes through like the fucking buildings and it's going in and out of the garages and into the van. Very slick stuff, very sexy, very hot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fucking really good. And it's like, again, for 1999, really cool shit. David Fincher then used the same kind of thing again for like Panic Room, going through like keyholes and air vents, shit like that. Really slick stuff. But yeah, one of the cool things about this movie. But yeah, so he describes what's going on, and then he says like, "I know this because Tyler knows this." This is like they're like literally fucking telling you straight up right from the fucking beginning what's going on. And then he's just like, let me back up. And then he's like on Meatloaf's titties, and he's like, Bob had fixed tits.
Huge rack.
Uh-huh. And then he goes even further back, and he talks about how he couldn't sleep for 6 months and shit, and how like,
yeah, because he had a support group for dudes with testicular cancer.
mm-hmm.
But then he's like, wait, hold on.
I'm
Like,
ahead of myself.
yeah, like I got to tell you how I actually got here.
Yeah, it will be very interesting when we put all these movies together to be like, okay, which one actually doesn't start at the end? All these movies are not in chronological fucking order, man. I wonder. I mean, maybe like Alien 3.
First one.
Dude, imagine if Alien 3 started at the end. Fucking Sigourney and Weaver's jumping into lava. Spoilers for Alien 3. And then,
like, "Fuck."
and then as she's falling in, she's like, "You're probably wondering how I got."
Let me back up.
Yeah. I met the Xenomorph in LV-42.
Xenomorphs. They took over.
Mm-hmm. No, but no, that's like Sarah Connor. It has to.
I was gonna
It has to be like the narrator. It's got to be sarcastic or whatever. Have you ever had your chest bursted by an alien? Yeah. That's what's happening to me right now.
But let me back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Let's rewrite Alien 3. The way Fincher should have done it. Yeah, so it goes back another 6 months, and yeah, so he's saying he can't sleep, and he's just like up all night watching television, and
Ronco, baby.
mm-hmm. And then he does like 3 of these slick movements right away. He's like at work, and you see it happens again. It goes through his trash bin, and it has
the Krispy Kreme. It's got the Fritos.
Starbucks
It's got the
cup.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Excellent product placement.
Oh, White Castle. There's a White Castle in there.
Yeah.
So if anything,
he
it
was a
helped
dope
those.
head. He was stoner. He was stoner.
And then he's just like staring blindly or whatever. And then I liked it in the DVD commentary when they're doing through that trash shot. David Fincher refers to it as a galactic tour of garbage, which is just sounds kind of cool.
Just shit. And that's his first. That's the first time you see Tyler. He pops up. The machine's going. You see the flashes, and then for that split second, he pops in. Boom, as the mail carrier's wheeling his cart.
Or is it? You should Google how many times Tyler comes out before he's fucking.
I counted 6, but let me see.
Yeah. So then after that, he explains how he's a slave to IKEA, and that's just a fucking a great scene where he's just like walking around his apartment, and it's like a catalog and shit.
6 times before Edward Norton finds me. Yep, there we go.
Beautiful. Okay, keep that queued up.
Fantastic.
Keep that queued up. But yeah, he was. I like what does he say? Like which piece of furniture, or is he talking about the
yin yang table?
Like what best represents me as an individual?
Yeah, I'm picking out which dining room set best describes me as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the yin yang table, he says like, if I saw something clever like a coffee table that was in the shape of a yin yang, he's like, I had to have it.
Even the glassware with the imperfections to show they were handcrafted by the hands of the fucking working force or whatever.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that is that this is a dude that lives by himself. He has like no friends. He's not even close to any coworkers, but he has like a full set of dishes and stuff. It's like, why?
Yeah, it's all stock.
Mm-hmm. Basically, his apartment is like an IKEA store or something.
Yeah, it's like a
right?
showroom.
Yeah, just for him, because he's not even taking anybody there.
Fuck no.
It's very interesting the way I viewed this movie as a fucking teenager, and then I hadn't seen this movie in many years. Obviously, I know so many lines from it. I know all the scenes, but I definitely saw the main character like so different this time. I was like, oh, like before I was like, you know, I mean, you can still kind of relate to him, but he is a real piece of fucking garbage, right?
Yeah.
You kind of relate to him a little bit more because I don't know, he's the narrator and you're going along on the journey with him, and he's like a smart ass. He's very clever, stuff like that. But the way that he treats people and shit like that, it's like he's a real fucking douchebag, you know?
Yeah, a bunch of the problems that happen to him are his own fucking
Yeah, it's
causing.
all his fucking fault.
Right.
But yeah, I guess he's his most sympathetic in the beginning of the movie, and I don't know. How did you guys feel about like him? Did you see him as a bad fucking character, Bono? Like you were like, fuck this guy.
Who, Edward Norton?
Yes.
No, honestly, I actually really liked his fucking character because it's that everyday workhorse dude. Because despite of him complaining or kind of looking at life through a fucked up view, he's still good at what he does no matter what, right? He's still gonna do his job. He's still gonna participate. He's able to purchase all this shit. So the dude's not struggling. He lives like on the whatever floor of this nice building and all this type of
Got
shit.
a fucking bellhop and shit.
Big chillin'.
Big pimpin'.
So it's kind of hard, but at the same time, yeah. Once he starts going to the to all these support groups to deal with other people and their actual fucked up realities, just so that he can feel something, that's where it kind of turns. And you're like, oh, you're a fucking
Right. When I
you're
was
a puss ass dude.
when
man,
I was
you
a
know?
teenager, I didn't see that as like. I guess I maybe felt it was a little immoral, but I didn't think that it was like too fucked up or something. And then seeing it this time, I was like, oh yeah, that's like very wrong.
Right. But I guess maybe that could also be a some form of healthy approach, because he's kind of venting with these people who feel legitimate pain,
Right.
and he could kind of take some of that shit. Like, if you see someone crying, you can kind
And
of,
it was helping him.
yeah, you can kind of take on that emotion and actually feel something.
I mean, you could. So the whole reason that happens is that he goes to the doctor because he can't sleep, and the doctor's basically like, nah, whatever, like chew on.
His doctor tells him to sleep, and I'm like, what?
The doctor tells him to chew on a root and to get exercise.
That shit works. Valerian root.
There you go. And that's, to get exercise, like naturally get tired, be more healthy, and you'll probably sleep better. But this guy he's the victim here, he victimizes himself. He's like, I'm in pain, like you need to help me. And he tells him, you want to see real pain, go to the fucking cancer groups.
When it goes with the whole like commercialism thing,
Exactly,
it's like he's like, give me the simple quick thing that fixes
just give me the
this.
medicine, give me the pill, and I'll be fine.
I don't want to do the work.
No, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, this doctor could have saved a bunch of fucking buildings. Oh,
hell
this
yeah.
fucking asshole.
He created a terrorist.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Douchebag.
He could have just been
He's
like,
a douche.
Yeah,
Not
he would have
the
been like,
fucking
you know what?
Edward.
Fuck this guy. Here's your Xanax prescription. Get the fuck out of here.
You know what's
and
really,
everybody would have been safe.
You know what's funny about this scene that I had never thought of before when I was watching it? He wasn't like in a room telling him that. He was like telling that to him
Openly,
in a hallway.
Yeah.
like what the fuck kind of
It reminded
visit is
Well, it
this?
seemed like that was kind of his friend. I felt like his friend was a doctor.
Oh really?
That's what I got.
didn't
Just because
think
of
so.
how like casual it was.
It reminded me of the scene in The Hangover where they go see the doctor and he's kind of doing his own shit and they're like talking to him. It was the same shit because in the foreground, it looked like a nurse or whoever the fuck was there was cleaning up a bed, as if someone either just left or died or whatever. And this dude's just like, yeah, dude, you just need fucking sleep. Get the fuck out of my face.
And that's where you see the second subliminal
Mhm.
Tyler,
He
right,
pops
standing behind the doctor.
Right.
And then so that's how he gets to the support groups. Well, another something I just thought about right now. Like, shouldn't there be like a better support group? He could, like, if all he needed to do was kind of have support, he didn't have to go to a fucking cancer support group. I'm sure there's
That's
an
where the
insomnia.
doctor told him.
I know, but I'm
If
sure
you
there's
just-
like an insomnia.
Maybe
one.
that's also probably the way the doctor saw it, right? He's like, oh, this puss ass dude has all this money. He can buy these pills. Like, you want to feel pain? Let me expose you to the world's reality, right?
And I also thought
Which
that
fucked them at the
the
end of the
doctor didn't tell him like as in go.
Yeah,
As in like, dude, your problem ain't shit.
Yeah,
like
you don't
these
have-
people got real
yeah.
problems. Not like, hey, go check it out.
yeah.
That Edward Norton's a fucking idiot.
He was-
So he went, yeah.
He's like, oh, this works.
I'm not entirely 100%. I could be making this up, but I want to say that Chuck Palahniuk got one of the ideas from this because I guess he was driving Like he had a lot of odd jobs as a writer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, I think he was driving somebody with cancer to a support group or something. So he like sat on the side of one or whatever and like witnessed it and was like, holy fuck, like this is fucking crazy. You know?
Real.
Could have made that up, but I want to say that that's real.
It's awesome if it is. I mean, shit.
I want to say that that's real. And so that's where you get to meet Bob and so how the narrator works it out is like he embraces Bob, he puts his head on his bosom, and for some reason he just fucking lets go and cries.
No, you cry.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, right. Because he's hearing about Bob tell him how he basically ruined his life by doing steroids, and he used to be a bodybuilder.
Right.
They were for horses.
Yeah, and
So they gotta drain all the fluid out of
yeah. So he's hearing how fucked up Bob's life is, and actually maybe probably feeling a little bit better about himself, but he still lets go of like all whatever emotions he has in him that he's just been bottling up, and it all just comes out, and it's a big release to him, and then he becomes addicted to it. And then after that it shows him like sleeping like in his
a
bed,
fucking baby.
and he's all like, babies don't sleep this good.
Exactly. Yeah, he's even got like not a full smile, but it kind of has like a smirk as he's hearing it from Bob. And then that's when he turns to him and is like, okay, well, you cry now. And then that's when he releases, like, okay, I can actually cry.
And then that scene's also fucking hard because it shows that part where the guy's talking about how he used to be married.
Oh, yeah.
How, like, his wife always wanted girls or whatever. And he's just like, and so, like, yeah, like, she's pregnant now and she's going to have a little girl. And he's just like, oh, and I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. She always wanted kids. And then he just, like, fucking breaks down and just starts crying. And it's just like, oh, fuck. It's like such a gut punch right there.
So fucked.
But that's good for him that he has an outlet.
Yeah.
He's not,
Oh, my God.
She's not sitting at home in his apartment all
With
sad.
an Uzi.
Yeah.
He's talking to Bob.
That's good. Yeah. Good for that guy. I hope he's doing good. I don't know. Oh, do we have an update on that guy?
They should make a follow-up story on that, dude.
Yeah. And then I don't know, when does Tyler pop up at somewhere in the support groups?
No.
But you do get one of the things where he's kind of building Tyler right there, because one of the people in the support group says, I see a lot of new faces or whatever, which is something that he will end up saying.
Right.
And basically he builds whole Fight Club is a support group, right? So he ends up he just ends up doing the same thing in like a really extreme fucking in the sickest way you could do it.
Right.
But yeah, it's like this is where like, yeah, you see the subliminal Tylers, like this thing is brewing, it's slowly coming out, and he's taking the steps towards complete fucking mental breakdown.
At this point, has he passed by him at the airport?
No.
I don't believe so.
Not yet.
No.
Let me quick check and see where they come out. But I know for sure one was when he was making copies. The other one was there at the hospital or clinic. And I'll get the rest real quick.
To keep that queued up, bro. Anyway, so he's like over here very fucking like he becomes addicted to support groups. He starts going to different support groups every night and shit. One of the little tidbits I read, because one of them is for sickle cell, and I guess if you look closely, him and Marla are the only white people at that support group.
Wow.
It's all black people and Mexicans, because I guess they're the people that are prone to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then that's where you meet the character of Marla. Marla has one of the really coolest fucking like character entrances of all fucking time. She comes in with that like big fucking hat and the sunglasses. It's like slow motion. She's smoking. The smoke's like slowly coming out of her fucking face.
Oh shit! Tyler does pop out in the support group.
I do it.
Right as soon as he talks about the wife having the kid.
Yeah, I knew he popped up for somewhere.
Okay.
There you go.
Nice. That's 3.
Yeah, and then so what was I saying?
I don't know. Sorry.
I forgot.
You were saying something
She's
about
got
being
the
racist?
dopest intro.
Oh yeah, Marla.
You're
Marla
being
Singer.
racist for a bit or something?
No, that was not. So Marla comes out. I really like her entrance. Dope entrance. And then that's what fucks it up for the narrator right there. Fun fact about Marla's name, Chuck Palahniuk named that character after a girl that used to beat his sister up in school. So that's pretty cool.
Immortalized there.
Yeah.
Here you go, sis.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Remember this one? She's fucking nuts.
And so she's like she's kind of like a slightly worse version of the narrator. She's doing the exact same thing. Her life is not as together. And she's like, as the narrator has those thoughts but doesn't say them, she just flat out is disrespectful.
Yeah, she's like
and
the polar opposite. She's the fucking gutter bitch.
she's not she's actually him. She is the him that he wishes he could be.
I'm just saying, like, to the lifestyle, like to how he lives his life or conforms to society. She is the opposite.
Yeah, but she kind of represents kind of like the person that he is inside. And that's why he hates her, because she reminds him of himself, and he knows that she's lying because she straight up shows up to these cancer groups smoking, and she's smoking in them.
She's smoking the cigarette. She's like, is this cancer?
Yeah. Oh
it's like, bitch.
God. Yeah. And then so while she's there, he can't cry, so he can't sleep, so he becomes an insomniac again.
Fucked it up.
Yeah. And then there's that really awesome scene where you meet Chloe. I think he describes her as like Meryl Streep's like skeleton. Mm-hmm. And there's like a really funny but also messed up scene of her being like, dude, like, I'm like gonna die and all I want to do is just fucking get laid one last time before I go. So it's like right there, it's kind of like, ugh, that's kind of sad. This is messed up. But then she goes into like, I have porno magazines and like videos, lube,
and lube.
She starts naming a bunch of shit, and then like the lady's just like, all right, that was close. Give a big round of applause.
So I was paying attention to the thing, and yeah, like you say, everyone's kind of like, oh fuck, kind of grossed out. There's one person who's sitting there right in front of Marla, who smiles. Everyone else is kind of like, oh, fucking looks down. This is looking right at her, kind of smiles like, I'm gonna hit this bitch.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty fun.
I forgot to talk about the meditation. So before Marla shows up, he does when he's having success in these groups, they do like this meditation thing where they tell him to go into their caves, and he goes into like this glacier cave, and they tell him to find his power animal. And it's a little penguin who giggles like a child and says slide. Which I don't know, what is that? What is it? Is he telling him like your mind's gonna fucking go soon?
Just go for it, I guess.
Or I don't know, what is the significance of the fucking power animal?
Play Mario 64.
Ooh, the fucking penguin.
You know what the fuck it is, bro.
Remember, you had to, if you got that little baby, you had to be weary of the mother, and what would we do? We would take him to the cliff and drop the baby.
If you didn't do that, you're a liar.
Fuck you. Oh, I've always been a PETA support. Go fuck yourself. You kill that penguin.
I love penguins, dude. Fuck you.
The March of the Penguins is beautiful.
Happy Feet. Fuck you.
Oh, Surf's Up. That's my favorite.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Penguins.
Penguins. Fuck yeah.
So that's
Up
his
episode coming up.
That's his fucking spirit animal.
Yeah. And so when Marla's there and they're trying to make him do the same meditation, like, she's disrupting his life so much that he's not seeing the penguin anymore. Now she's in there, and she's like, and she tells him the same thing, like, slide, fuck it. Yeah. Which I think that is kind of like more like he's reaching his fucking breaking point,
And it's great too because you could physically see how annoyed he is by her presence.
He's just so angry.
Yeah.
And it could be like also like a sexist thing or something, like a dude just being like, I'm just mad that this woman just fucking came in.
She's at a testicular cancer fucking support group.
Oh,
it's like, come on,
it's
lady.
so fucking funny because then he's just like, you do not have testicular cancer. He's like, well, you still have your balls. Like, technically, I have more of a right to be there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And then when he finally confronts her, it's really funny, too. Because she's like getting coffee and fucking, he just like pulls her and he's just like, you're a fucking faker. He calls her a tourist.
You're a tourist.
Which is fucking awesome. I love that fucking term. It's like, you big tourist. And then he's just like, I saw you, I see you or whatever. And she's like, well, I saw you practicing. Fucking great shit. And then whatever, she's just like, fuck you. And then he like follows her out and he's just like, all right, let's work this out. Let's split up the support groups. And then, you know, he basically tells her like, I can't sleep unless I fucking cry. So you need to fucking work.
Which that scene too, where they're going off and just talking about trading days. It's pretty fucking brutal because, like, fine, I'll take brain parasites. You can have fucking all this other shit.
Oh, she tells him, you take tuberculosis. My smoking doesn't go well over there. So fucking hilarious. And then right as she's doing that, she's like straight up stealing fucking clothes from a laundry mat, and she goes right across the street to sell them. And then also another badass character trait is how she just crosses the street without fucking even checking. Just cars are just like whizzing by her.
Which about life,
which was actually fucking shot practically. That is not CG. They timed those fucking cars.
That's fantastic.
Like I saw that on the commentary. The director was just like, dude, like, so how do I do this? He's like, it's all timed out. You just gotta fucking walk. She's like, Jesus. And then he talks about how this is actually really fucked up, but I guess because of it, I guess it was timed perfectly, but in certain takes you could hear the cars hitting her coat, like the buttons. You could hear the buttons because the cars were physically fucking touching her at some times.
That's close. That's fucking awesome.
And she still does a really good, like, I don't give a fuck performance. As she's like, I'm sure, pretty fucking scared that she might get run over.
Right. Fuck yeah!
It's like Eddie Murphy and fucking
in both. I was just thinking.
Oh my god! That was great. Let's do it again. Crossing the 405.
Fuck yeah! We need to do Bowfinger. That's such a good fucking movie. Oh yeah. And so they exchange numbers. So that's you get the number exchange or whatever. And then he also describes Marla as like she always said that it was when the whole traffic thing's happening, that she didn't give a fuck about her life, like the way she lived. She's like, fuck it, you could die at any moment. But the big tragedy of her life is that she didn't die.
Yeah.
Pretty.
So if I had a tumor, I'd name it Marla.
Yeah. And so then after that, you get into the narrator's job. You get that like montage of him like on planes, and he talks about single serving friends, that he lives his life in a single serving way, single serving coffee, single serving sugar, the Q-tips or whatever. And he called all the people that he sits next to him plain single serving friends. Very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he goes into his job description where he's an analyst for a car company, and he assesses a recall rate per their defectiveness, which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
And it's fucking, what's so fucked about that scene is that the guys, when they're looking at it, they're describing the scene. They're like, oh, look, the kid's braces are melted onto the door. He's like, that'll make a good non-smoking ad because it's on the ashtray.
Yeah.
And then in the front driver's seat, he's like, look, his dad must have been a big guy because you could see the fat burned into the fibers on the fucking flannel shirt. And he starts laughing and shit, right? One of the guys. It's like a really sick approach to it. And so then he's just like, well, my job is to assess how many times this is going to happen. And if it's good enough, if it's as many times for me to call in a recall, is it more often than not? That's not the case.
Well, yeah, he
fucked
like
up.
he says like this weird thing, like if the like lawsuits or whatever they have to pay off was less than it took to make a recall, then they wouldn't make a fucking recall.
Yeah,
They
they
would
would just pay off the lawsuits.
yeah.
And be like, fuck it, we lost a little bit less money.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's saying that to a chick on a plane, and she's like, "What company do you work for?" It's like a major. Fuck.
And I was telling these guys that my neighbor had a town car, and that's the car in this movie that happens to fucking crash, happens to burn, all the fucked up shit happens to this car. The car that goes over the spikes, the car, all that shit. Town car.
Oh,
Lincoln.
I always, when I was a kid and saw that, I thought that was like one of the most awful things. Just to think of a guy burning in his seat. They were like, oh yeah, like the whole family got trapped inside by the seatbelts. And
Right.
just like, that's the first time I ever fucking even that thought came into my fucking head.
Which is a thing.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
Fuck yeah.
Jesus.
The melting the metals are that thin that they could melt, and then they mend, and you're stuck.
And that's why I have a pocket knife now on me at all fucking times.
Well, at least he died looking cool with that knife in his hand.
He slit his throat.
That's why he carried a knife.
He should have cut himself.
I don't know why he just had to cut himself out.
This fire was super slow.
Yeah.
This man wanted to die. I think his favorite movie was Fight Club. He's sick.
Kept calling himself Tyler.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so he's talking about the insurance and stuff. And then he says that he would always pray for an air collision or something.
Right.
And you get that fucking really cool scene.
Little Final Destination action. Did
A
they
little
take
bit.
They take that from this?
I want to say Final Destination was maybe the same year.
Let's check it out.
Maybe a year or two before. Maybe 98. But it has to be around the same time. What you got?
Let me see.
Good plane crash sequence.
It's pretty good. And I was telling these guys, as soon as the fucking airplane hits, the stewardess who's on the phone just gets splattered on the wall. Dude. So like the impact starts with her.
And I love
2000, my boy.
Ooh, Fight Club wins.
Yep,
Fight Club
they
wins.
showed them the way.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I just love the narrator's look as this scene's playing out. He's just kind of looking around, kind of like in wonder. He's like not scared. He's just like, oh fuck, like look
Because
at
he's picturing it in his head, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck? What if that was going on right now?
Mhm.
Like, fucking nuts.
And then he says,
You're dead.
Then he says, insurance pays triple during a business.
But who's going to get that fucking
Exactly.
money?
Exactly.
Mhm.
He's a loner.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid narrator.
And then so he comes out of that like little delusion of the airplane, and then all of a sudden Mr. Tyler is sitting next to him.
Right. So
we missed the
final when he pops in.
Well, there's two more.
Well, the one was with Marla when they were leaving the building.
All right.
She walks away and she pops up like in her shadow. He pops up in her shadow. And then this one, when he's on the flight back, he's in the conveyor belt going the opposite way, but he's not Flash anymore. He is now embodied.
Yeah.
That's the most obvious one. I mean,
Yeah.
because they literally show him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
embodied
so
already.
before that, he's in the commercial when he's in the
That's
hotel. So yeah, so it goes from flashes to he sees him in a commercial, then he physically sees him. Well, he doesn't see him, but he's there.
He's there, yeah.
And then finally, after that, he's finally sitting next to him. And they're talking about the emergency
procedures.
Yeah, because Tyler's sitting next to the emergency exit. And I was like, Tyler Durden's just one of the coolest fucking characters. And in fucking cinema, in my fucking opinion. He just has a bunch of cool shit that he says. He's just like the personification of cool. Fucking leather jacket,
But I mean, that's
sunglasses. That's what.
No, I was like that, but that's what he's like. Also, like literally supposed to be. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Which
what-
is why he's like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's like all like saying like and they like, do you know what the fuck like this is here for or whatever? It's like, yeah, like I don't know. First, like he says like an emergency procedure like at 600 feet. Like what the fuck? Like this door is only here as like to comfort you to think that you would actually live. There is no fucking emergency. This isn't gonna fucking help you if we're going down.
Right. And it makes sense too, because at 50,000 feet, which is regular traveled height, there's less air. So of course you need oxygen if there was to be a depressurized cabin. But he's right in the sense of saying, hey, oxygen gets you fucking high. If it's pure oxygen, which they're gonna run through because you need it, because there's not enough carbon dioxide in the fucking air for you to have that at that altitude, which is cool too, because it's also like he's also that guy who has the weird quick facts that you might not be ready
Random
for.
facts.
Like, what the fuck?
Why'd
Hey,
you say that?
a polar bear could crush a skull with one tooth. Stupid shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Which is also what the narrator hopes to be, right? Because he refers
He's
to
so
himself.
clever.
Yeah, he's the clever guy, and that's the best part of it. Where he's like, "Well, how's that going for you?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Well, good luck with that shit."
But I like when he's talking about the oxygen and the people that are getting high, and he's like, "Look at the brochures. Like, look at how happy they are. It's like they're calm as Hindu cow."
Exactly.
So fucking hilarious. And yeah, so he tells him that he's the most interesting single serving friend he's ever had. And then he's going to explain it to him. He's like, oh, no, I get it. It's like, you're very clever. How's that working out for you? And then, yeah, so you see the suitcases, which is one of the big first fucking hints that it's him, because they have the same suitcase. And you never see inside of the narrator's suitcase. So you would imagine that in the narrator's suitcase, it's full of fucking soap.
It's double the amount of bars.
Samsonite.
Yeah. And then another tell, which I never thought about till I was thinking about it today, because they flag his fucking suitcase.
Right.
So, I mean, he's been working with fucking explosives and this crazy material. That's probably why his suitcase got fucking flagged, right?
So it wasn't a dildo.
I don't think so.
No.
So I don't
But didn't
own
they say?
a dildo.
But no, but they said it was vibrating.
Yeah.
Well, what,
He says, yeah, more often than not, it's a razor. But they never explain anything. They never call it back. But then I just thought about it that time. I was like, oh, well, he was doing some shady shit. So maybe.
dude, he's lucky because now when you go to the airports, they do that little fucking rubby hand test. He would have been super fucked.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's with all this nitroglycerin? Homemade
So
somehow
all
we
this
can tell
fucking
that.
body fat.
And then in that scene, like, Brad Pitt randomly tells him, like, did you know that if you mix this with that, you could make fucking napalm or whatever?
Frozen orange juice
Yeah.
and gasoline.
And he's like,
Is that a thing?
And he's like, is that true?
Is that?
So no, but
Aw.
so they changed the ingredients for the movie, but in the book he does give you the fucking recipe to make homemade dynamite.
That's crazy.
Dynamite?
Yeah, I
Oh,
believe
shit.
so.
Because like napalm, I remember the napalm.
I think
from
I think it wasn't napalm. I think it was dynamite. I just said napalm.
What was that book
Napalm.
called? The freaking God damn it, something cookbook.
Oh, right.
Anarchist cookbook. I remember that you melt styrofoam in gasoline. And
Interesting.
that's how you make homemade napalm.
And there you have it, boys
Allegedly,
and girls.
allegedly,
You have it.
allegedly, folks.
Here we go. We're the anarchist fucking podcast telling you how to make fucking bombs.
Well,
And artisanal soap.
yeah, when those the shit that happened at the Capitol, they said that they found some bombs and stuff. That's what they found.
Bro, they were just quoting fucking Fight Club.
Yeah.
Bro. These guys are just like,
Yeah.
let's have it's 1999. Don't worry about it. There was-
Orange juice.
Anybody have
concentrate.
orange juice? Like, we found
frozen orange juice?
Yeah.
Anyone?
You know what they could do with that shit?
Come on.
You know what can happen with some fucking frozen orange juice.
And in the book, they also say how you can drill
drill, baby, drill.
drill holes into a gun to make a silencer or something. Like exactly where you have to do it. And they're like, but if you don't do it right, like the gun will literally blow up in your hand.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, you could do it,
Probably
but
don't
you have
try.
to drill the holes in the right
Yeah,
spot.
just give it a
Or you
muzzle
could just
break.
buy a
relax.
silencer.
Okay, and silencers are illegal.
Not in Las Vegas or something. All right, we're going to take a quick break right now, folks, to get a silencer.
Piss break over. Anyway, right back into it. So right after that,
You're aggressive.
the narrator gets home after he sees Tyler get into like a fucking Camaro. Or is it a Camaro?
It is a Camaro. It's an RS, a V6, not the best one, but it looks nice.
Convertible.
Yeah.
He jumps right in, drives off, and then he turns away. When he turns away, he sees someone run after it.
He's just like, wow, he's cool.
Yeah.
It's like the way he's stealing.
Yeah. And then
Crime
he
is
gets
cool.
home, and then his apartment blew up. So all of his shit is just on the fucking floor. And he's like, how embarrassing. Or like, all this stuff is like, and then his fridge is right there. And he's like, is this a fridge full of condiments? Shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking mustard all exploded.
Mhm.
Dude. That shit was hilarious.
So fucking, yeah. So he goes to a payphone, and basically the numbers he has are Marla's number and Tyler's number. He calls Marla first, and then he just hears her voice, and
I hear you breathing.
Yeah, and he fucking hangs up. He's like, "Fuck that, no way." And then so he even says like, "If you ask me now, I couldn't even tell you why I called him." But whatever. He calls Tyler, and then he doesn't answer. He's about to dip. The phone booth starts ringing, and then it's Tyler fucking eating some fucking cereal like an asshole, just fucking crunching away.
Fucking love that.
Super cool. Just like, what do you want? Like, who is this? Like, I star 6090, man. But if you see closely when it's zooming in on the telephone, like when it's ringing, there's a sticker that says this payphone does not accept incoming calls or some shit like that. So that's another tell right there. So then they go to a bar, and and fucking the narrator's just saying like, I had a wardrobe that was getting very respectable.
It was almost done.
Yeah. He's just like, that couch. He's like, I justified to myself like, that's the last couch I'm ever gonna need for the rest of my life. And then the look on Brad Pitt's face is he's just like leaning on his hand, looking at him like, you fucking
Jesus.
fool. And he's just like, and now it's all gone, man, or whatever. But he's like so uninterested and kind of just like, oh my God, like, you're so pathetic. And he basically tells him like, man, like fuck all that shit. Like, I say burn it all, fucking whatever. He goes through his cool little fucking thing. He's just like,
Anti-material.
yeah, it goes to the things you own you, or whatever. He tells us it could be worse. So a woman could cut your penis off and throw it out of a moving car. And so, yeah, he's just like, whatever, man. We're all like, he basically is just like, and he does that duvet speech. He's like, why do you know what the fuck a duvet is? He's like, what's a duvet? So it's like, it's a fucking blanket. Like, why do you know that term? Like, they're just taking
hunter-gathering sense. Why do we gotta know that?
Exactly. It's like they're taking away our like humanity or our masculinity or whatever, you know? So he's just like, fuck all that. We need to go back to being the root of human beings or whatever. Fuck all this civilization shit we got going on. And he's and he's just like, but that's just me. You know, like, you know,
You're free to think of what you
I
want.
feel very bad. Don't worry. And then whatever, they leave the bar, and then he's like, oh, like, I need to get a hotel or whatever. And he's like, God, whatever, dude, just fucking ask me and blah blah blah. He asks him.
Need a place. to
Mm-hmm.
stay.
And then he agrees to let him stay with him, and then you get the fucking awesome, like, I want you to hit me as hard as you can. You know, it's like, why? It's like, I've never been in a fight. Like,
Have you? No.
It's like, well, how much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight and shit? And I was like, fuck yeah. Got in a fight when I was like fucking 7 or something. Got the shit.
Learned a lot about myself that day.
I learned that older kids could beat the shit out of you. That's what I learned. And yeah, so they fucking tells him to hit him and to surprise him. and Edward Norton throws like the wimpiest, bitchest fucking punch.
Palm punch.
Yeah.
Like
Right to the ear.
yeah, and he's like, why the ear? And it's so hilarious. And also, David Fincher actually told fucking Edward Norton to really punch him. They took him to the side. He's like, do it. Just fucking punch him, bro. So you get the real fucking reaction right there. So then after that, the narrator kind of starts telling you what Tyler does. He's a projectionist, and he works like as a waiter at a fucking fancy restaurant and shit. And
There's a lot of things.
yeah,
He was like, yeah.
How does he not get tired?
I don't know. Who knows? And then when he's a projectionist, he like splices porn into like family films, and he talks about cigarette burns and stuff, which is a term that I learned because of this movie. And doing a little research, Chuck Palahniuk may have made that turn him up.
No shit.
Like, he said that they called it that, but nobody in the industry calls it that. And I was kind of Googling it. It's like contested whether he made it up or not, but they're called something else. They're called like real spots or whatever or something. They have a name.
Not fake spots. They're real spots.
I should have written it down or whatever. But he may or may not have created that term, and then since then people have always been calling it cigarette burns, but it was all because that dude just called it that.
It's also because of Pitt, okay? If Pitt tells you to call it something, you're gonna fucking call it that, all right?
Yeah.
So, dude, don't look at me. I can't do it when you're looking at me.
Yeah, he would piss in the soup and fart on like the bread. He's like, and the clam chowder. So like, well, you could guess.
Tell him. Come on, tell him.
And in the book, they're like, he's like saying like, it's a really fancy place. I forget what actress they say, but in the book, it's like he asks one of the waiters or whatever. He's like, let's just say that, and I forget what actress it was, but let's just say fucking Reese Witherspoon. He's like, let's just say that Reese Witherspoon has eaten my cum. It's like, damn. Oh, man.
Maybe she has too. Maybe he was just name dropping. Like, you know what? This chick did swallow.
Yeah, maybe. And you know what? She turned down the role of Marla Singer, so fuck you, Reese Witherspoon. Dumb bitch. I'm sorry. to Reese Witherspoon. I didn't mean to call you a dumb bitch.
No, she's nice.
Just dumb broad. Legally Blonde. I hate that movie.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point, dude. I was just thinking the cigarette burns. Did that like fuck anybody up? Like when they were like any real projectionists?
I think by that point there was not really.
Most of it was digital.
It wasn't digital. I think it was still reels, but they didn't have to. There was like
they were long enough.
There was another system where you didn't have to flip the reels anymore.
They could just start the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because imagine it's all fucked up. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. So then,
fuck! I slept.
Stupid ass Bencher.
Shit.
So then you get into the little montage of them fighting, like in the parking lot, and then like people like. There's a little group around them, and like people being like, "Can I be next?" and fucking all this stuff.
Can I do that?
And he talks about how they go, and Tyler lives like in this
on Paper Street.
On Paper Street, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing house.
And it's like abandoned or condemned, awfully unlivable fucking house.
Dope as Victorian though.
Yeah. I would go for that. It's a good fixer-upper.
It's at least 3 floors.
In the industrial area of where the fuck are they?
It's true. I don't know where they are.
It's Los Angeles, but they never.
LA,
they never say it, right? They never. And the police are the silliest police, and it's not the LAPD.
Is IKEA a West Coast thing?
It's Sweden.
Swedish? Okay,
Yeah.
then I guess not.
So it takes place in Stockholm.
He did have a jar of Mendocino something. So if he was
Mendocino's finest.
So if he was going artisanal, maybe Mendo, California. I don't know.
Could be.
There was an Italian guy though that owned the joint. That's very East Coasty.
Lou.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm
Yeah.
Lou.
Yeah, but yeah, they introduce you to the house. It's a dump. Nothing works. There's a
stairs
flood
are
in the
falling
basement. There's a
apart.
flood in the basement. The fucking pipes, like the sink and the shower, it's all fucking brown
Our
water.
pets' heads are falling out.
Yeah.
I've had it with this dump.
It's next to a paper mill, which makes it stink like terribly.
And yeah, so they say that they're like alone for a half mile in every direction, like after a certain time, because next to them is nothing but businesses or whatever.
But you would think when people come to work the next day and there's hella broken windows and golf balls everywhere, you're going to be like, I know who did this. There's one fucking house.
But then it looks abandoned though.
Yeah.
And he's probably gone during the, well, I mean, he is gone during the day. He's at
he's
work.
working.
Yeah. Fuck.
Mhm.
Got me.
Perfect cover.
Sorry,
Mm.
Gatzel Chugger, whoever wrote this shit. Whoever wrote it, I think.
So they show him like playing golf when he's saying that. They're just throwing the golf balls, which apparently they were actually drunk when they were making that, when they were doing that scene, and they were shooting golf balls into the catering truck or something.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Must be cool to be rich. Just fuck with poor people.
That's the point.
Just physically abuse the poor.
Mhm.
I love that.
Oh, in the commentary, he was just like, I think Edward Norton tells Brad Pitt, is like, we were drunk that night, weren't we? And David Fincher's like, what? Like, he was just like, what the fuck, guys? I don't know.
He's only doing that
We
for
did
insurance
that shot
purposes.
100 times. you
Yeah,
fuckers.
technically, yeah, you can't be drinking while making a movie legally.
What?
Yeah.
Sure, the Screen Actors
Insurance?
Guild looks
Insurance
down on that.
liability?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, technically, you're not supposed to be drunk when you're.
I mean, you're at work.
Yeah.
There's very little jobs that I can think of that are like, it's cool to be drunk while you do this job.
Mad Men. Watch Mad Men, guys, on Netflix.
50s where 60s ruled.
Fuck yeah. So then
Fucking
after
Biden fucked everything
after
up.
that, you see he's reading the I Am Jack fucking like journals or whatever, that there was like a bunch of books written in the first person of organs or whatever, like I am Jack's medulla oblongata or whatever. And then Brad Pitt's like, I am Jack's colon. I get cancer. I kill Jack.
What an asshole.
But yeah, that's how like those jokes, they're so dark and so messed up. And we were watching one of the special features on the Blu-rays where they were talking about all the critics, how like they were all like most of the major critics, they were like talking about LA Times and New York Times. All those people gave them like really bad reviews. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's because of fucking lines like that, like super insensitive shit like
And
that.
yeah, it's distracting you too because Brad Pitt's riding like a bicycle naked with a robe on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like, well, yeah, I gotta stare at Pitt.
Yeah.
But this is talking about colon cancer over here, just being a total fucking guttural bastard.
Yeah. And you go right into the bath time, which is like, they're like super close. Fucking Brad Pitt's taking a fucking bath and he's just sitting there cutting his fucking nails. And they're giving themselves a little history and how they didn't have dads. How the narrator's dad like jumped off and left when he was 6. And he says that like he basically would just start a family like every several years and then pack up and go somewhere else to start another family, which explains why he has nobody.
Does he have a term? Doesn't
Oh my!
Durden have a term?
Yeah,
for
he
that?
says that he's setting up franchises.
Yeah, that's great. I'm like, damn, now I want to do that. Just
Yeah.
because that's pretty cool.
And so then Durden's talking about how like, yeah, like my dad was just like, he's like, Dad, I graduated college. What do I do now? It's like, get married. It's just, and then like Jack's just like, it's like, I'm a 30-year-old boy. Like I can't get married. Like what? Which is something I can relate to at the moment. But yeah, it goes right into that. He's back at work and he's just like hating it. And he's starting to get like the bruises and stuff, and people are starting to notice. And his boss is I don't know. His boss is like not liked him from the beginning, or it's this weird thing.
I mean, he's a dick. Fuck that. Like, he's good employee. Like, it seems like he's good at his job, but he doesn't.
Well, the whole thing about how Chuck Palahniuk came up with the story is that I guess he got his ass kicked when he was camping one time. Like, he complained to some campers that their music was too loud and they beat his ass. And then he went to work the next day with like a purple eye or whatever, and he said that it was super crazy how none of his coworkers would acknowledge it, and they would say like regular shit to him, like "How's your day?" or whatever, and he was just like, "Oh, like these people don't want to know me, or they don't care to ask me, or I'm making them super uncomfortable." So that's kind of where he got the fucking initial idea about it.
So if he worked with a bunch of Mexicans, we would never have Fight Club. Because Mexicans would be like, "Damn, what the fuck happened to your face, dog?
No mames, way.
Yeah, you lost, dog. Why are you here?"
Exactly. That's very recently, one of my coworkers did show up, and he had like a big gash over his eye, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?
Tell me everything,
like,
dog.
What happened?" He was like, "Man,
I'm about to go on lunch, dog.
Dude, I need
Grab some Gatorades from aisle 7 and let's fucking go."
meet me in the front.
How's your register, guy? You gotta
He's taking 15. He's taking 15. Let's go, man.
He's with me, no one yet."
Was it Stacy?
I know. Don't tell me. Let me
See how big's that fist?
Let me get you a monster. What do you want? You want a monster?
Yeah. How do you feel?
You deserve something.
None of that sugar-free shit. Give him the whole thing.
Get the real one. Get the big one.
Let me get your Pedialyte.
Yeah, with the top, the unscrews at the top. That
You look a
big
little
one.
drained.
Magnum monster for you.
Yeah. But then it has
So good thing he worked at a white people company.
Exactly. So then after that, they kind of started establishing the Fight Club, and then it has that cool montage where they're like walking into the bar, and you know, like everybody's following them.
The final countdown's playing.
They go down. It's not.
That'd be great. I was telling Electro, you were paying attention to that scene when they're walking in the bar, the pink bar sign that looks like a bar. So they're walking there. He's passing the first two doors. There's a man to the right who's right in the corner where there's like a little bit of light, and he has glasses. That dude looks like the author of this fucking thing.
I'm not sure about that.
Might be. That would be awesome if he was.
Definitely
so if he
could
is,
be, but
I don't know if you out there know the research, have the research, know the guy, whatever. If he did, that is fucking awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, he goes through that whole thing like it was on the tip of everybody's tongues, but Tyler and I just gave it a name or whatever. And you get that, you know, the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club, you know? Just fucking great. One of the most repeated, probably the most repeated line of this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Ozzy had never even seen it, and we were like, you know, texting about watching the movie, and you sent a fucking GIF with that fucking quote on it. You hadn't even watched it. Yeah. So it's basically saying how, like, you know, this shit's just giving all these fucking dudes that are filled with testosterone that don't have anywhere to put their manliness. It's giving them a fucking outlet to, like, just let it all go and be fucking men or whatever. That it didn't matter what you did or whatever. Talks about how like this, the copy boy at his work like beat the shit out of like the maitre d' of like a food court or something, and like at that point like he was the fucking shit. Doesn't matter what your fucking job titles or your statuses are when you're right there, just everybody beating the shit out of each other.
Right.
Kind of cool.
Honestly, there's some truth to that shit, and on some real, like, as a personal escape. I remember at the time when I was at Google, we'd play soccer, and we'd have everyone. We're talking about fucking coders, lawyers, legal, the whole fucking nine, right? The whole spectrum of the workforce. Motherfuckers be showing up in Ferraris and fucking Skylines and all these imported gorgeous vehicles. But when we'd get on the field, I'd be putting in mad work, you know what I mean? And I was the valet guy for the first 3 months and doing all this shit. But when it came to like that respect level, I'd put motherfuckers on their ass, and vice versa. You know, you'd have the bad motherfucker, but for that hour and something, you're on the level playing field, literally. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like, you know, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. Absolutely. You're gonna put it all down here. So that's pretty awesome.
That's right.
You're like, why are they making him? Why does he want to be called Tyler when he plays soccer?
Hey, yo, Ty.
Why does he keeps telling us that we're not special?
No.
Yeah, and then Marla calls him, which is another giveaway right there, because he gave her his number and she calls him at that fucking house.
Right.
So that's a giveaway right there. That he's been living there and doing shit at that fucking house the whole time. Pretty cool. And then she's like basically telling him that she's trying to kill herself, and he's just like leaves the phone there, doesn't give a fuck, dips. And then fucking Tyler just fucking swoops right in. Yeah.
In the middle of that call, fucking Tyler's doing fucking Bruce Lee.
So hilarious.
Yeah, he's doing karate in the background with like nunchucks.
So yeah, he sees him take off, and then he just goes up to the phone. Like,
Yeah.
He's on the line. So have you ever heard a death rattle?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then he shows up and she's like, "You got here fast." Did I call you? Which is another thing, and that's another giveaway, but at the same time you're like,
she's fucked up.
Yeah.
Sure
but it's a giveaway. So it's like she doesn't know this guy, but she like again, if Brad Pitt showed up at your fucking doorstep, you'd probably be like, okay,
I wouldn't be mad.
come in.
But that means she also called the cops.
Yeah.
No, well, it is insinuated that the neighbor called the cops. She's like, oh, that the old lady next door probably called the cops. She says that.
No, I think she was looking
She
for...
says that.
Does she?
Yes.
I think she's reaching.
No, she says that. She says that. She's like, oh, fuck. Like, the neighbor probably called the cops or whatever. And then, yeah. So that scene's awesome, too, because Tyler literally never speaks to her. He just shows up. He's just, like, staring at her. She's just talking. He's just, like, grabs her as soon as she finds out the cops are coming. And
But it's got to... I think it was her that called the cops because they know she's trying to kill herself.
Yeah.
So she called him like, yo, I'm trying to kill myself. They already know who she is.
Right.
It could be, if you live in an apartment complex, sometimes you could hear what your neighbors are saying. And if she's on the phone talking about killing herself, she could have, the neighbor could have called her.
She's like a drama queen.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought when she said, did I call you? I mean, like, oh, wait, I thought I called the cops type shit. Like, aren't they supposed to be here by now?
Like, oh,
like,
you're 912, I forgot.
You got here fast. Cops aren't supposed to show up fast, right? It take forever to get there type shit.
Yeah.
So
yeah. See, there you go, dude. Yeah, fuck yeah. You're wrong,
Okay.
Electro.
Well, I'm just telling you what fucking she says that they call the cops, okay?
She doesn't know
Anyways,
what she's saying. She was on drugs. You can't listen to her.
Anyway,
She's on that Zan.
Tyler has to bang her all fucking night because she's ODing. She's like, if I fall asleep, I'm dead. So you got to fuck me all night.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And then,
Her words.
Oh, well.
and then fucking, it has maybe the greatest line in the movie.
Yeah.
Because in the morning, the narrator sees her. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing here? Like, this is my house." Like, and she's like, "Fuck you." And she like leaves, and then Tyler shows up and is like laughing. He's like, "You got some fucked up friend." And then
Like, right before his coffee.
yeah, he's like, "Dude, there's just shit that came out of this woman's mouth," and they're just laying there, and she's like, "I haven't been fucked like that since grade school." And then Tyler just like, which awesome part about the trivia. I'm sure if you like this movie and you know anything about it, you got to know this trivia that the original line from the book was, Tyler, I want to have your abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And that the studio at Fox hated that line so much that they were just like, you can't have it. Like, you got to get rid of it. So Fincher was like, fine, but whatever I put in it, you can't make me take it out. And the guy was like, whatever you choose is not going to be as bad as what that is. And then so they filmed that one. And then when he saw it, he like begged them to change it back to the abortion thing. And he was just like, no,
Too late.
you said I could pick whatever the fuck I wanted.
Right.
And it is, I gotta say, it's a better fucking line. It is a very disturbing, messed up line. Because obviously she got like
Child
raped.
raped.
Well, apparently that's also when so Ed Norton and Brad Pitt were at the premiere at the Venice Film Festival, and apparently they got stoned, and they were up in the balcony with the guy that ran the film festival. So nobody was getting the jokes. They were getting all stoned, and at that line, that's when the guy walked out of the fucking movie.
Wow.
It was just like, fuck this movie. And when that line came, he was just like, I'm out. Walked away. Had fucking, it was a bomb. People shitted all over it after that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what pushed the guy over the edge.
Yeah, and so then after, I don't know, they go into that little montage of them just hearing them banging like all the time, which is hilarious. That chick does some hilarious sex sounds. Like Tyler's sex sounds are funny too,
Right.
but the moans she's making are so over the top. It's so exaggerated.
Super drawn out.
Yeah.
Like shrieks.
They're
like
so
shrieks.
fucking funny.
He's like, ow.
Oh yeah, he says ow. And then it goes to him being at work. His shirt has blood. He's smoking. His boss is just like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Come back Monday with clean clothes. Like, get your shit together. And he tells someone, "Is that your blood?" He looks at it. It's like, some of it.
That's a great line. I fucking love that line. I just like, that was good.
Yeah. And then he's like, he happily goes back home with his briefcase, all unorganized, papers are coming out of it, and he's like prancing up the steps to get into his fucking house.
Dude.
And then he has to come home to the sounds of fucking Tyler and Marla fucking.
Right.
And nice little tidbit, Brad Pitt and Helena Bonham Carter spent 3 days recording different orgasmic sounds for that shit.
That's awesome.
It must have been so fucking fun, dude.
Also, yeah, in that fuck scene where he's going back to his room and Tyler opens the door, he's wearing like dishwashing gloves.
Yeah.
But dude, homeboy has a heavy dick root showing. He looks fucking shred city, man.
I wonder, do you watch Archer?
Of course.
No.
There's that scene. It's fucking exactly that scene. Him opening the door naked, only wearing yellow fucking dish gloves.
That was
scene.
Brad Pitt's idea on the day. And that was one of the scenes also that one of the Fox people was just like, they were just disgusted by that. They're like, can you fucking take that scene off?
Worship the man.
But apparently that was one of the, like, when they screen tested it, it got one of the biggest laughs in the movie. They were like, we can't get rid of it. It's probably one of the bigger laughs in the movie.
You want to finish her off?
Yeah, dude, god, that was so good.
She's all falling over the fucking thing. That's where he's like, ow. Right before he opens the door.
Yeah.
And who are you talking to? Shut up.
Oh, so good.
Which is another tell right there. He's like, who are you talking to?
Exactly. And then that's when the detective calls him, and you kind of find out that he might be a suspect,
Right.
and that it wasn't the pilot light that blew up, that somebody vandalized.
Someone used Freon to get into the place.
Mm-hmm. And then whatever, he hangs up, and then Brad Pitt shows up, and then he's just like, "What are we doing tonight?" He's like, "Tonight we make soap." Fucking awesome fucking scene. And Brad Pitt and Edward Norton actually learned to make soap while making this movie.
Wow.
Kind of cool.
I do like that when he's talking to the detective and he's like, those weren't just things. Those were my life. They were me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I would like to thank the accountant.
Which is sadly probably the only time Edward Norton's going to be able to say that. I hope Edward Norton wins an Oscar. He's one of my favorite actors, but it's not looking good for him.
Nah, he's been off for a while.
The fat heist, hilarious. They break into the liposuction place to steal the fucking fat from the and it's just like
Which I still don't get why we don't do. Why is that not a thing?
if you want to, we can do it.
Not us
carpet
personally,
with it.
but yeah, like why don't we use that fat to make $20 a bar soap?
I'm sure they dispose of it properly, not in a fucking trash can outside.
Well, it had barbed wire, but you know.
Yeah, it was pretty protected.
That's not properly
That's pretty
disposed.
safe.
There's still a truck backing in there and taking
So
it.
fucking awesome when the fucking bag of fat gets caught on the barbed wire and it's like just spilling and Tyler's literally trying to catch it with his hands.
Don't spill
That's
it.
so gross. Yeah. He's trying to catch it with his bare fucking hand. Like,
Slips.
makes a scoop.
Yeah. And then this is probably my favorite scene of the movie with the chemical burn scene. That's like the fucking speech I like latched onto the most as a kid when I would watch this shit. When he like the whole our fathers were our models for God. If our fathers failed, then what does that tell you about God and shit? Like I heard that, I was like, whoa, that's deep.
I'm never getting a credit card.
Yeah. And so he's basically, you know, and then he's trying to go off into his cave and he's like, nah, don't deal with it the way those dead people do. And he's just like, he's slapping the shit out of him.
Right.
And he's like telling him, like, this is the greatest moment of your life, man. And you're off somewhere else and shit. And then he has to, I don't know what the point of it. He kind of makes him like stop panicking to like him. He makes him accept what like his pain or whatever.
Yeah, stop doing your coping mechanisms to make sure that you're okay. It's like you're gonna be okay no matter what. You just gotta give in.
Yeah.
To this reality.
He tells them you have to know but not fear that one day you're gonna die and shit. He's also making him accept his fucking mortality and shit.
That's when I pretty much like had it locked in. Like, oh, this dude's his subconscious. Like I was still trying to. Up until that, I thought it was a dude slowly descending into like more and more drug use or something, like some addiction.
You would think so,
and that's why he was looking worse and all that, and his teeth were falling all. Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first, and then that I was like, oh no, this Tyler dude's his subconscious.
Yeah,
he's hurting himself right now while trying to make that shit.
Yeah. And then whatever, when he finally accepts it, and he throws the vinegar on him, and he's like laying there, and he tells him it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. And he tells him, "Congratulations, like you're one step closer to hitting bottom." Like that's the whole thing. It's like, dude, I want you to fucking ruin your life, basically. Like you got to fucking let go of everything that you believed in, and become a terrorist. I don't know.
No, but at the same time, it's like he's doing the same to Marla, and in one of those scenes where she's leaving, she's like she's almost at bottom, like she's getting close too.
Yeah, like he's like, see, she has like no fucking problem reaching bottom. Like, why are you fighting hitting that fucking low bar? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they sell the bars for $20 a bar, and he's just like, oh, it's beautiful, we're selling rich women their fat asses back to them and shit, which is crazy now because now bitches want to put things in their ass, not take fat out of it. Right. And then that's when the boss finds the flyer, and he basically says some scary fucking shit, talks about taking a gun to work and fucking shooting everybody, which is like
a carbine gas powered AR going from fucking what does it say, from room to room, taking out fucking
pumping bullets into everybody. It's just like, dude, I know that if somebody said that to me at work, I'd be like, I'd like leave and like call the cops.
I'm like, that's a write-up, bro. I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta write you up for that.
No, it's like,
this is a written warning.
Now you laugh.
One more threat, and it's verbal.
I would laugh like Vince Vaughn. Hug him, you're fucking funny, man. Don't you ever fucking shoot me, please. Yeah, like, dude, we're friends.
Straight up.
Man, I'm glad I called that guy.
Exactly. And then in the middle of that, Marla calls. He answers the phone. She's just like, my tits are rotting off of like brain cancer. And he like puts the hand over the phone and says, I have to take this.
There's a compliance and whatever.
Yeah. And then so he goes to meet up Marla because she says that she feels a lump or whatever. And on the way to meet her, like she like is taking food out of like the back of some van, like at a hospital or whatever. She takes a couple meals and
Highbrow shit.
and then he's just like he reads the fucking person's name on the meal. It's like, this person's not gonna eat now or whatever. And he's just like, she's like, he's dead and I'm in poverty. You know,
I got you one.
That's true. And then that's when he runs into Bob on the street. He's like, Cornelius, he's like, we all thought you were dead. So fucking funny. And then he's eating a fucking donut.
Krispy Kreme.
So disgusting too, how he just like throws it and starts licking his fingers and shit. Meatloaf crushes it in this fucking movie, man. Robert Paulson. And he tells him like, have you heard about Tyler Durden and shit? Like, he's a great man and stuff.
Guy knows his
So
shit.
the mystique of Tyler Durden is being fucking built and stuff.
Well, I think right there too. He's talking about he was like born in a mental institution.
Oh, right.
And he develops everything. He's like, oh well, he's kind of flattered because he thinks he's talking about him because he knows that he created it or helped create it. So yeah, his name is Tyler Durden, and like his expression changes.
Yeah, he's like jealous
It's
and
like,
stuff.
oh fuck.
Yeah.
It's like the magician under the stage, like, fuck this, bro. I'm the fucking creator. I want the applause.
And then he fights him, right? And he obviously Bob beats his ass. They're like walking out.
Squeezes him.
They're like walking out of there, and he's like, "I didn't hurt you, did I?" He's like, "Actually, you did." And then after that, you get my second or maybe first, I don't know which one's my favorite speech of this movie, but we're the middle children of history speech.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So fucking good, where he's just saying like, we got no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Great Depression is our lives. Just so fucking good.
That's a good one.
2 years away from the longest war ever, baby.
Yeah.
You didn't see that
true.
coming, did you,
That's true.
Finchy?
Yeah. But good shit. It's like we work jobs we hate so that we could buy shit we don't need. And fucking like, oh, we've all been raised on television to believe we'd be rock stars and movie gods, but we won't. And we're slowly learning that fact. And we are very pissed off. That's just fucking grade A writing right there, bro. That shit made me want to fucking burn things down.
John Steinbeck called them embarrassed millionaires.
Embarrassed millionaire?
Yeah, John Steinbeck says socialism never took root in this country because it's full of embarrassed millionaires.
There you have it.
Wow.
And people that are just like, fuck, I'm this close to making it. Like, no, bitch, we're all poor.
Yeah. And that's where the Lou scene. So Lou comes out right after Tyler's most glorious speech where he fucking, he's starting his cult and shit. All these people. He's saying things like that make people fucking relate and fucking, they're just like, yes, he's like their Charles Manson. He's their fucking God. Chuck Palahniuk talked about how this book was about father figures and stuff and about letting go, like that people typically have two father figures in their life, like their biological father who they eventually have to let go and kill, and then the other father who they meet that kind of like teaches them or they fucking look up to or whatever. So basically Tyler is kind of this father figure to a bunch of fucking people that maybe didn't have fathers or whatever. They had to let go of their father and stuff. And so the things that he say make sense to them. So they are willing to fucking do whatever the fuck he fucking tells them to do.
Right.
It's fucking great. And then the Lou scene. My name is Lou. Who the fuck are you? I'm Tyler Durden. And he just, another great scene where he just like beats the shit out of him. He's like, I didn't quite catch that, Lou. He keeps hitting him. It's like, okay, I got it. Shit, I lost it. And then, so he like beats him. He's like super bloody, and then he like jumps on him, and he starts like putting
zombie stuff.
he's like putting all his blood on his face, and he tells him, "You don't know where I've been." It's basically being like, "Dude, my blood is on your fucking face right now. You don't know what I could have fucking AIDS, bro." Like
some 28 days later shit, bro.
But he just keeps saying that to him, like, "You don't know where I've been," and he's like maniacally laughing, like, "You don't know where I've been." It's just fucking awesome. And that's where the homework assignments come in. One of Bono's favorite scenes right there, where everybody has to. Their homework assignment is that they have to go and
get in a fight
and lose.
Yeah,
and that's just hilarious.
It's funny too because they're explaining that like it's probably the hardest thing to do because people are pussies and
people will do everything to avoid it. Yeah,
and you get some really funny scenes out of it.
The fucking mechanic who just hosing everybody that walks by next to it. And fucking the priest is the only one that actually fucking was his life.
It's fucking Buster Bluth.
He looks like him. He's like, "I'm sorry, sir, you seem to have sprayed me." He just sprays him in the face.
Sprays him.
And then he like knocks his Bible down and sprays it. Fucking hilarious.
And near the end, he's the first one to be like, "You don't ask questions."
Mm-hmm.
Like he stayed in the thing and became
he got recruited in.
Yeah,
the priest.
Mm-hmm. Well, it goes right into him fighting, like right after that.
Yeah.
And then they do the Raymond Castle scene where he like fucking robs this dude and fucking he tells him like, "Why are you working this shit job? Like, what did you want to be when you wanted to grow up? Like a veterinarian." Basically, he takes his license and he's just like, "If you're not on your way to becoming a veterinarian in 6 months, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to fucking blow your brains out and shit." And then what does he say? Like, oh, the narrator's like, "I feel sick." He's
Imagine how he feels. Run, Forrest, run.
So fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then basically after this, fucking Tyler starts recruiting people. He fucking builds a bunch of bunk beds in the basement. He starts getting a fucking army. They form Project Mayhem. It's like really not even about Fight Club anymore. It started as Fight Club, and now it's Project Mayhem. And now they're just going around and doing. They're terrorists basically. They're
doing mayhem.
They're defacing public property. They're threatening people.
Yeah, so basically they're destroying the TVs, the computers, and the luxuries, right? They feed a bunch of pigeons laxatives and they shit on BMWs, right? That's like the pinnacle of luxury for a lot of people. People's television sets is what connects them to the world, so they're fucking up dish satellites for these people. And then the computers, the Big Macintosh, they set them on fire, which Oz had a really big problem with. Because apparently you can't put
That's
gasoline.
all factual. Forget what Ox said. That was all accurate.
You can't pour gasoline.
That was all accurate.
Into a TV monitor.
That was all accurate.
But it leaked. It all leaked out of the fucking vent holes.
Shut up, Oz. Shut up.
It's true. It's just true, man. It's just true.
Yeah. And then Jared Leto's angel face kind of comes into play. Very prominent. Super fucking blonde.
The first recruit who's out there and shit, and they're telling him to get the fuck out.
That's not Jared Leto.
No, I know. But the first recruit when he comes in and Edward Norton's like looking at him, "Get out of here!" And he starts hitting him with a broom.
With a broom.
I'm gonna go inside and get a shovel. I'll be right back, motherfucker.
Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious.
And then so they're building their fucking army, and they do this like. They blow up some building. They make a giant smiley face on the side of a fucking building. And another thing, apparently, in that scene, when Edward Norton comes in, he's holding one of the files to Project Mayhem in his fucking hand, which is pretty fucking awesome. And he gets there and he's just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you guys?" And everyone's just looking at him like, Like, what? we just,
your idea.
we just
motherfucker.
did this with
Yeah,
you.
he just participated, and that's the thing. Tyler Durden's covered in paint, and he's not,
Mhm.
but it's him. So it's
But he walked in holding the folder.
Right.
Fucking awesome.
It's pretty good.
And then they see in the news that like the commissioner's just like, yeah, don't worry, we've got like a task force. We're gonna get these fucking guys. So they go to like one of these fancy like whatever $1,000 plate fucking
Crime city fucking
dinners
banquets.
or whatever, and they like threaten to cut off that dude's balls. And Meatloaf's like, his balls are ice cold. One of my favorite fucking scenes. Another awesome thing that Tyler says in that scene is just like, dude, the people that you are after are the people that you depend on. Like, we cook your meals, we take out your garbage, we do this, we do that. Like, we guard you while you sleep. Like, we're the ones doing it all. Like, do not fuck with us. Super fucking. This movie has so many fucking awesome quotes. And that's where the narrator starts getting jealous of Jared Leto. He sees that, like, Tyler kind of, I don't know, he's like proud of him or tells him he's given some kind of trust to him or some shit. So he gets really jealous, and that's why he fucking beats the living shit out of him. Even though one of the rules is that, like, if someone goes limp, you gotta stop, but he just doesn't stop, and he just fucks his face up, and then the sound of just like meat hitting meat or whatever, that's what makes that. And then they also are cutting to people that are just like looking away, like going like, oh fuck, and it's just like, that makes that scene super crazy. And you finally see his face, and it's just like so fucked up, and all his teeth are fucking gone.
Does someone throw up in that? Oh no, that's in the Tyler Durden one when he's throwing the blood.
Oh, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah, and he's like all saying like at the end of that, he's like, I wanted to breathe smoke and shit. And Tyler's just like, when did you go all psycho and shit? And it's like, I wanted to destroy something beautiful. Blah, blah, blah.
Too blonde. He was too blonde.
You're too fucking blind. Oh, man. But yeah, so then we keep going into Project Mayhem. It just keeps getting worse. And there's just so many people at the house. They're all doing a bunch of stuff. He doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. And yeah, it just leads to fucking, yeah, we're going super long. So we just need to wrap this bastard up. Just going to speed through the end of this fucking movie.
Yeah, so then comes the Robert Paulson scene where they're tasked to deface art and government property or a franchise property. So they're set out to go destroy this fucking ball that is perfectly timed, and you know they knew exactly what they're doing because it rolls down this building plaza and goes into a coffee shop, and then security there shoots this big fat guy, which I mean they could have shot him anywhere, but he's fucking excellent marksman.
Yeah,
Shoots him in the fucking head, and they take him back to HQ.
It's probably a warning.
Him,
it's probably a warning shot. He's just like, I'm not gonna hit him. Boom! Right in the fucking
fuck.
head.
Kill shot.
Shit!
Kill shot.
I am an excellent marksman.
So yeah, they take him back, and
yeah, his name is Robert Paulson.
yeah, so they're like, oh fuck, they shot Bob, and right there, it's I saw one of the, I guess not a sin, but a little thing where people are like, oh, they kind of fucked up. Is they're like, oh, they shot Bob. He says that, not Edward Norton. He's like, oh, they shot Bob and then right after he says, but in Project Mayhem we have no name.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, this is a fucking man, right? His name was Robert Paulson.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, oh, I get it now. In death, while serving Project Mayhem, you have a name. His name is Robert Paulson. Which is a little flip on the fucking thing because they kind of fucked up right in the beginning. But it's great. Because then everyone's aiming for that now. They're like, oh, I'm ready to die. So I have a name and I'm remembered or immortalized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it's also, I think, like it's speaking on something of like the whole point of that was that, dude, this consumer culture is turning us into nobodies. It's making us forget who we are. Let's fuck that. We are somebody. Let's create this thing. Mm-hmm. But then the end point of that thing they created is them becoming nothing. Like they became the thing that they set out to fight.
Right.
It's like we we're nobody. This guy's yelling at us. It's again this one person on a megaphone saying, "You do work. Essentially, work will set you free," like the fucking Nazis had at the death camps.
He's telling them that they're not special.
You're not special.
Yeah, and he's like, and I'm trying to set you free from a society that is telling you this.
Right.
By making you this, it's like, so yeah, again, it's a really smart kind of like way to be
at that point in the movie too. This is already when Tyler leaves and Edward Norton's kind of dealing with all the aftermath of him
feeling rejected.
Yeah. So he's just kind of like, okay, well, Tyler left this atmosphere, culture, like instilled at his place of living, where he steps out and there's this dude, like he's like raking like the rocks, like a little Zen garden.
Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me, man.
Yeah,
it wasn't even that close.
No, he's just being a total douche.
Yeah, and that's when Marla shows up and she's just like, "What the fuck? Like, what's going on here?" And she's like, "Can I come in?" And he's just like, "Tyler isn't fucking here. Like, he is gone." And she's just like, "Damn,
I'm fucking out of here.
Fuck this."
And then you go into the Robert Paulson scene, and
yeah, so then he starts like looking for Tyler, and he finds a bunch of fight clubs all over the country, and then he runs into this waiter, and then that's when he basically finds out that he's Tyler, because that guy's just like
somehow I knew every fucking bar. Yeah. Exactly every bar I would go into. I knew it was one.
It goes back to what they were saying about the fathers, because they call them franchises. You could take them in the literal sense of like, hey, it's a franchise that they're able to take on. But it's like, no, he's fathering the trust of all these motherfuckers in all these different sectors that are gonna participate in a coordinated attack type shit, which is pretty cool.
Your dad's a great guy going around.
Is this a test? Are you sure this isn't a test? And he's just like,
where he goes to the dry cleaners. You're a fucking moron.
Yeah. So then that's kind of where he finds out, because the guy's just like, "You're the guy that gave me this," and then he has like the acid burn on his
chemical burn
on his hand. And then he's just like, "What's my name?" or whatever. And he's just like, Tyler Durden. And so then he goes and he calls Marla, and he's like, "What's my fucking name?" And she's just like, "Tyler Durden, you fucking quack." Like, you crazy bastard. And then right then, Brad Pitt just like pops up. He's just like sitting there. And he's like, "You fucking talk to her about me." Because that was like his one rule. It's like, you can never talk to her about me. It's like,
if you do, we're done.
Yeah. So, and now he's like bald and like, I don't know. He's got other fucking wardrobe. And then so he realizes that they're going to blow up all these buildings. So he like gives himself up to the cops. Like, "I'm the leader of this terrorist organization. Like, you got to fucking stop. You got to fucking stop it." And then so the main cop, who's been fucking getting... The detective who's been on his case about his apartment blowing up, he's like, "All right, I gotta go check some of this stuff out." And he leaves him in the room with a couple other people, and they're like, "We really admire what you're doing right now." And he's just like,
"You're a genius, sir."
Yeah, like, you're willingly gonna let us cut off your balls to like fucking prove a point or something, right? And he's just like, "Oh fuck."
He's like, wait a minute. I'm giving you a direct order. My name is Tyler Durden.
Which is weird, because he's all like, he'd say you say that. He's like, he definitely said you say that. Who's he? He's he. Like, what's going on?
Right, but they don't know that, right? Because they're not part of the whole thing. They're part of the franchise. It's all myth shit. It's hearsay. So they're like, "Yeah, you said you definitely say that."
Yeah. So then he fucking goes to one of the buildings, and he finds the van rigged with the fucking nitroglycerin. He disarms it, and fucking Brad Pitt just like beats the shit out of him. Super fucking cool fucking scene.
Excellent homage to Bruce Lee. All Bruce Lee moves. It's fucking fantastic. He does the fucking hair pull, blows it off his hand. He does the leg stomp where he kills someone, but in this one he breaks Edward Norton's leg, and he's doing all the sounds while he's wearing a pornographic t-shirt. No, wife
Tank
beater.
top.
Yeah, wife beater. He's got a wife beater on.
Yeah, And then he throws him off some stairs, which is pretty gnarly. That was done practically. Poor bastard got fucking flown off those stairs.
And we were saying the fucking has the Shining thing there.
A little bit. Yeah, it does have like kind of a Shining score at the end of it.
Yeah, when Wendy hits Jack with the bat.
He falls down the stairs. I don't know if it's an homage, but it could be.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, so then he wakes up. They're going to blow up all these buildings. There are all these credit card buildings. Everybody's credit score is going to go down to 0. They're going to fuck up with the system. They're going to fuck up the whole system up and shit. And, so he fucking doesn't want that. He figures out that fucking since they're the same person, he's just like, wait a minute, Matrix, there is no spoon. I'm holding the gun.
Oh my god, that's not even the connection, bro. What? There is no spoon. I have a gun. There's no spoon. God damn it!
If you're holding the gun, I'm holding the gun. There is no spoon.
Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh my.
So yeah, he basically blows his. You think he blows his brains out. It's actually a really cool shot, especially for 1999.
Yeah, it is
slow
cool.
motion, him shooting himself in
and
the
you
mouth.
see all his veins light up. I don't know if you noticed that. When he does that, everything lights up inside.
Yeah, so he kills Tyler, and then, yeah, that's basically it. He kills Tyler. He's still, at the end of this movie, the leader of this fucking cult or terrorist organization. Mm-hmm. And Marla's there, and they're holding hands, and they just watch all these buildings blow up to the pixies, which is also they were all Fox Studio fucking buildings, and one of them was Nakatomi Plaza from Die Hard. So
the first one.
So yeah, so that's two of the greatest movies right there that show they're sharing a building. So I don't know. Well, fucking A, like that's fucking Fight Club. Sorry, we spent way too.
Sorry,
we spent way too long on it.
Apologizing.
We had to rush
man.
through the end there.
That's what society wants you to do. Apologize.
And I apologize.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
God.
You got it, society. But yeah, that's fucking Fight Club. I fucking love this movie. One of my it's got to be on my top 5. I'm like, I fucking love it. You guys just watched it. Basically for the first time. I know you watched it when you were a child, Bono, but you hadn't really seen it in many years.
It had been a while, but I do recall remembering certain parts of this. Again, there was not too many surprises, but you do pay attention to a lot of the subtleties now. A lot of this,
and it's hilarious.
Consumerism approach to life that we all carry.
It's a fucking hilarious movie. Ozzy boy, what did you think of it as a first-time viewer?
It was good. Yeah, I very much enjoyed it.
You said you were kind of let down by it a little bit?
I'm trying to think of what exactly when I mentioned that of why.
Like a little while ago.
Yeah.
You said it was, or not, actually it was yesterday before we watched it. You said like it was like super hyped up, or you had like an expectation of it.
That and the hypeness of it. Because one thing that, again, when we were younger, I realized a lot of why my friends or the people around me liked it was that hyper masculinity that was built into it. But it's making fun of all of that.
Right.
So again, everybody that hyped it up for me loved that shit, you know? So not that I was expecting a different movie, but I was like, yeah, what 19-year-olds like about it is not what it's supposed to. Like they misinterpret it, and they
absolutely
that
super easy
Tyler
to
Durden's
misinterpret.
a bad character. He's not a
good character, and the narrator isn't a good character either. He's a fucking piece of shit through and through.
Yeah,
the one person that cares about him, the Marla character, who is presented as a piece of shit, is kind of like the only good person in this movie. She actually cares about this fucking guy, and she's going through a lot of shit. She even tells him like, "You're the worst thing that ever fucking happened to me, man. Clean food, please."
I'm sorry.
What I suggest, staying away from the clam chowder. No clam chowder. Yeah.
I'm sorry, miss, but you're having dinner
with the fucking
king.
You're beautiful. Old school. Anyways, that's it. Sorry for going on so long.
Fuck us, sorry.
You're
welcome.
Follow us on social media, all that stuff. Thank you for listening. And yeah, anyways, adios. Arrivederci.
The Electro and Bono